Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramanaya. Prostrations to Ramana, who shines as the self in every one of our hearts. We begin the satsang with the prayer by Sapna Ganesh, followed by Muktakatrayam by Sri Nandakumar Sir.
दक्षिणामूर्तिसारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमां रमणाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् शुक्लाम्बरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये आङ्गिकं भुवनं यस्य वाचिकं सर्ववाङ्मयम् आहार्यं चन्द्रतारादि तं नमः सात्विकं शिवम् ॐ नमो भगवते श्रीरमणाय नमो रमण to everyone.
एकम् अक्षरम् हृदि निरन्तरम् भासते स्वयं लिख्यते कथम् हृदयकुहरमध्ये केवलं ब्रह्ममात्रम् अहम् इति साक्षात् आत्मरूपेण भाति हृदि विषमसा स्वम् चिन्मता मज्जता आनचलनरोधा आत्मनिष्ठो भवतु देहं रङ्गय जडात्मकम् अहं बुद्धिर्मतस्यास्त्यतु नाहं तत्ततभावशुद्धिसमये श्रद्धात्मसद्भावतः कोऽहं भावयत कुतो वरधिया दृष्टात्मनिष्ठात्मना सोऽहं स्फूर्तितया अरुणाचल शिवः पूर्णो विभाति स्वयं सोऽहं स्फूर्तितया अरुणाचल शिवः पूर्णं विभाति स्वयं नमो रमण
Namo Ramana. We continue the satsang with chanting of Upadesha Saram verses by Ashwini Balaji and Uma Sridhar.
नमो रमण कर्तुराज्ञया प्राप्यते फलम् कर्म किं परं कर्म तज्जडम् कृतिमहोदरौ पतनकारणम् फलमशाश्वतं गतिनिरोधकम् ईश्वरार्पितं नेच्छया कृतं चित्तशोधकम् मुक्तिसाधकम् कामना कार्यमुत्तमम् पूजनं जपश्चिन्तनं क्रमात् जगत ईषदी युक्तसेवनम् अष्टमूर्तिदेवपूजनम् जगत ईषदी युक्तसेवनम् अष्टमूर्तिदेवपूजनम् उत्तमस्तवादृच्छमन्दता चित्तजं जप ध्यानमुत्तमम् आज्यधारय स्रोतसा समम् सरलचिन्तनं विरलतः परम् वेदभावनात् सोऽहमित्यसौ भावनाभिदा पावनीमता भावशून्य सद्भावसुस्थिति भावनाबलात् भक्तिरुत्तमा रसने मना स्वस्थता क्रियाः भक्तियोगबोधाशनिश्चितम् नमो रमण
Namo Ramana. We continue with offering of Ramananjali Sangeetam. The first song will be by Srimati V. Radha along with Vallabh. The second one by Srimati Pratibha Sundaresh.
Namo Ramana to all. As an offering to Atma Bhirama Ramana, celebrating the birth of Sri Rama, we present to you a song in lines of Utsava Sampradaya Kritis of Sri Tyagaraja Swami, which are songs for offering the various sevas to Lord, beginning with the Suprabhata waking song till the lullaby song to sleep. Sri Y.V. Venkateshwara Rao, who has translated many of the Ramananjali songs to Telugu, wanted to offer to Ramana the entire worship as offered to Lord Venkateshwara in Tirupati. He composed a music album, Ramanuni Nitya Seva. Among them, we present the song, the waking song, Melukovaya in Ragam Durga, set to Khanda Chaputala, and the music is composed by Dr. Rajkumar Bharati. Melukovaya, Melukovaya, Ma Pali Daivama Swami Ramana, Swami Ramana, Ma Pali Daivama Swami Ramana, Swami Ramana, Jagatinantayu Yelu Ramana, Jagatinantayu Yelu Ramana, Melukovaya, Mam Melukovaya, Melukovaya. Hasita Vadana, Karunya Nayana, Hasita Vadana, Karunya Nayana, Swarna Varna, Swayam Prakasha, Swarna Varna, Swayam Prakasha, Hasita Vadana, Karunya Nayana, Swarna Varna, Swayam Prakasha, दिव्य तेजा दीन रक्षक परम सद्गुरु परमात्म रमणा परमात्म रमणा परम सद्गुरु परमात्म रमणा परमात्म रमणा मेलुकोवैया मेलुकोवैया अघमो बापू भगवानु दीवु अघमो बापू भगवानु दीवु ऋषिलंदु महर्षि वीवु ऋषिलंदु महर्षि वीवु अघमो बापू भगवानु दीवु ऋषिलंदु महर्षि वीवु शरणार्थुలకు शुभदात वीवु शरणार्थुలకు शुभदात वीवु निलचितिमिनी सन्निधिनी निलचितिमिनी सन्निधिनी ममुगन मेलुकोवैया मेलुकोवैया लोक रक्षक शोक हरणा लोक रक्षक शोक हरणा वेद वेद्या साधु हृदया वेद वेद्या साधु हृदया लोक रक्षक शोक हरणा वेद वेद्या साधु हृदया मृदु स्वभाषा मौन मुनिवर मृदु स्वभावा मौन मुनिवर मेल्ल मेल्लग सद्गुरु रमण सद्गुरु रमण मेल्ल मेल्लग सद्गुरु रमण सद्गुरु रमण मेलुकोवैया मेलुकोवैया मा पालि दैवमा स्वामी रमण स्वामी रमण मा पालि दैवमा स्वामी रमण स्वामी रमण जगतिनंतयु ಏಳು ರಮಣ ಜಗತ್ತಿನಂತಯು ಏಳು ರಮಣ ಮೇಲುಕೋವಯ್ಯ ಮಮ್ಮೇಲುಕೋವಯ್ಯ ಮೇಲುಕೋವಯ್ಯ ಮೇಲುಕೋವಯ್ಯ ಸ್ವಾಮಿ ರಮಣ ಸ್ವಾಮಿ ರಮಣ ಸ್ವಾಮಿ ರಮಣ ಸ್ವಾಮಿ ರಮಣ ಸ್ವಾಮಿ ರಮಣ ಸ್ವಾಮಿ ರಮಣ ನಮೋ ರಮಣ.
Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramnaya. This is a Sanskrit composition, selected verses from Sri Ganapati Muni, Sri Ramana Gita, set to music by Sulochana Mami in Sri Raga. A sannyasi by name Amritanatha inquires Bhagavan Ramana, who is ever reveling in a wealth of auspicious qualities, about the limitless glory of a realized person. Bhagavan Ramana replies saying that the glory of realized person is beyond imagination. They are like Shiva, the embodiment of auspiciousness itself, and abiding in the self is the highest siddhi. Bhagavan's life has been a living testament to these statements, and we are so blessed to know about it and literally witness it through the writings of the great devotees like Suri Nagamma, Devraj Mudliyar, Annamalai Swami, and many, many more. ईदृशं गुणगणैरभिरामं प्रश्रयेन रमणं भगवन्तम् ईदृशं गुणगणैरभिरामं प्रश्रयेन रमणं भगवन्तम् ईदृशं गुणगणैरभिरामं प्रश्रयेण रमणं भगवन्तम् ईदृशं गुणगणैरभिरामं प्रश्रयेण रमणं भगवन्तम् प्रश्रयेण रमणं भगवन्तम् सिद्धलोक महिमानमपारं पृष्ठवान् अमृतनाथ यतीन्द्रः 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 रि 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 नि सरि गरि मा 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 मरि सरि प मा प प प मनि प मनि प प मनि प नि 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 म प नि सरि गरि रि स नि रि स स नि प स नि नि प म प रि स नि प द नि प म रि गरि सरि ईदृशं गुणगणैरभिरामं प्रश्रयेण रमणं भगवन्तम् प्रश्रयेण रमणं भगवन्तम् आगतं स भगवान् गवासी सिद्धलोकमहिमा तु दुरूह ते शिवेन सदृशा शिवरूप शक्नुवन्ति च वराण्यपि दातुम् आगतं स भगवान् गवासी सिद्धलोकमहिमा तु दुरूह ते शिवेन सदृशा शिवरूप शक्नुवन्ति च वराण्यपि दातुम् रि 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 नि सरि गरि मा 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 मरि सरि प मा प प प मनि प प मनि प नि 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 म प नि सरि गरि रि स नि रि स स नि प स नि नि प म प रि स नि प द नि प म रि गरि सरि ईदृशं गुणगणैरभिरामं प्रश्रयेण रमणं भगवन्तम् ईदृशं गुणगणैरभिरामं प्रश्रयेण रमणं भगवन्तम् प्रश्रयेण रमणं भगवन्तम् नमो Ramana. The next two offerings of Ramananjali Sangeeta will be the first one from Savitri and Jai Shri Ram, and the second from Revati Shankar. हे काल स्वरूप भगवान जीवन का निर्मल दोपहर हे काल स्वरूप भगवान जीवन का निर्मल दोपहर हे रमण स्वामी भगवान हमें दो चिदानंद निर्विकार हे रमण स्वामी भगवान हमें दो चिदानंद निर्विकार हे काल स्वरूप भगवान जीवन का निर्मल दोपहर हे अमित तेज भगवान मिटा दो माया मिटा दो माया का अंधार, मिटा दो माया का अंधार। हे मृत्युंजय भगवान, पिला दो जीवनामृत की धार। हे मृत्युंजय भगवान, पिला दो जीवनामृत की धार, पिला दो जीवनामृत की धार, पिला दो जीवनामृत की धार। हे काल स्वरूप भगवान, जीवन का निर्मल दो उपहार। हे शांति तत्व भगवान, चरण तव सकल सत्व का सार। हे शांति तत्व भगवान, चरण तव सकल सत्व का सार। हे रमण स्वामी भगवान, चढ़ाओ हृदय पुष्प का हार। हे रमण स्वामी भगवान, चढ़ाओ हृदय पुष्प का हार, चढ़ाओ हृदय पुष्प का हार। हे काल स्वरूप भगवान, जीवन का निर्मल दो उपहार। हे काल स्वरूप
of Sadarshana. आहस्फुटं तत्त्वमसीति वेदः, तथाप्यसम्प्राप्य परात्मनिष्ठां, भूयो विचारो मतिदुर्बलत्वं, तत्सर्वदा स्वात्मतया हि भाति. The scriptures assert that you are, without enquiring and reaching the self, which always shines and abiding as that. To discuss again endlessly is only due to the weakness of the mind. The scriptures speak the truth, what has been experienced by many seers. Since I have not experienced, I start saying what is there in the scripture. There is the truth in the scriptures, but when I discuss it, there arises the problem. When I discuss something, there the mind arises. The mind is something which thinks it's outside of the self. Because of that, it becomes weak. When something is baseless, it becomes weak. For that, we need to question who am I, and the weak mind rests in the self. I present to you a song written by Sadhom Swami, Kannada translation by J.H.P. Acharya, music by Srimati Sulochana Natarajan. मनसे मनसे हाडुबा, मौन गगनदि आडुबा। मनसे मनसे हाडुबा, मौन गगनदि हाडुबा। ಎಲ್ಲೂ ಕದಲದೆ ಆನಂದದಿಂದ ಹೃದಯಾಸನದಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಲ್ಲುಬಾ. ಎಲ್ಲೂ ಕದಲದೆ ಆನಂದದಿಂದ ಹೃದಯಾಸನದಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಲ್ಲುಬಾ. ಮನಸೇ ಮನಸೇ ಹಾಡುಬಾ, ಮೌನ ಗಗನದಿ ಆಡುಬಾ. ಜ್ಞಾನ ಸುಂದರ ರಮಣ ದೇವನೇ ಕರೆಯುತಿಹ ಬಾಬಾ ಬಾ. ಜ್ಞಾನ ಸುಂದರ ರಮಣ ದೇವನೇ ಕರೆಯುತಿಹ ಬಾಬಾ ಬಾ. ಮಾಯಾ ಜಗವಿದು ನಿನಗೇಕೆ ಪರಮಾತ್ಮನಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಲ್ಲುಬಾ. ಮನಸೇ ಮನಸೇ ಹಾಡುಬಾ, ಮೌನ ಗಗನದಿ ಆಡುಬಾ. ಕರ್ಮಗಳೆಲ್ಲ ವ್ಯರ್ಥವಲ್ಲವೇ, ಅವುಗಳ ಬಿಡು ಬಿಡು ಓ ಮನಸೇ. ಕರ್ಮಗಳೆಲ್ಲ ವ್ಯರ್ಥವಲ್ಲವೇ ಅವುಗಳ ಬಿಡು ಬಿಡು ಓ ಮನಸೇ. ರಮಣ ದೇವನ ಸನ್ನಿಧಿ ಸೇರಿ ರಮಣ ದೇವನ ಸನ್ನಿಧಿ ಸೇರಿ ಮುದ್ದು ಮಗುವಾಗಿ ಆಡುವ ಮನಸೇ ಮನಸೇ ಹಾಡುವ ಮೌನ ಗಗನದಿ ಆಡುವ ಎಲ್ಲೂ ಕದಲದೆ ಆನಂದದಿಂದ ಹೃದಯಾಸನದಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಲ್ಲುವ ಮನಸೇ ಮನಸೇ ಹಾಡುವ ಮೌನ ಗಗನದಿ ಆಡುವ. ನಮೋ ರಮಣ.
Namo Ramana. We continue the satsang with the reading and sharing by Sri Nandakumarji.
Namo Ramana. In this, the book reading segment of our satsang, we get back to reading from Fresh Discoveries, Western Seekers on Sri Ramana Maharshi, a compilation by our founder president, Sri A.R. Natarajanji. We have been reading the account of Sunyata Baba, and we have found that his writings are not mystical and he uses new words. So we continue to read. Today we are embarking on the new segment, We Are Always Awareness. Of Ramana Maharshi, we had heard in Kashmir and Tibet from lamas like Sri Buddha Disha and Sri Chauchu Ji, and later on also through Paul Brunton and Dr. W.Y. Evans. Evans, of course, figures in the talks with Sri Ramana Maharshi in the early talks. And we had the darshan of Sri Arunachalam. It was during the period 1936 to 1946 that we were in Ramana's bodily radiance 4 or 5 times for a few weeks each time. The real darshan and real consummation are in radiant silence, and we were also free to play in forms, in movements, and in English words without any interrupter or interpreter near to explain. Since our first darshan, Maharishi Ramana is to us a consciousness within and around, a natural spirituality like the mature harmony and Akasha purity of Sri Himalaya. Since our first darshan, Maharishi Ramana is to us a consciousness within and around, a natural spirituality like the mature harmony and Akasha purity of Sri Himalaya. Of course, he has his residence in Himalayas for a long time. It is an awareness or experiencing to be lived out. The Maharishi is an awareness or experiencing to be lived out from, rather than a vision or ego memory to be asserted, exhibited, or explained away. The Maharishi is an awareness or experiencing to be lived out from. We have to live in and live out of Bhagavan, rather than being a vision or an ego memory to be asserted, exhibited, and explained away. Darshan is wisdom in identity experiencing, and our word symbols are but shadows. and effort is our bondage. Our terms, like our pet panacea and only ways, are apt to hide and falsify Advaita, unity essence, and integral awareness. What Sunita Baba feels is that whenever we try to express in words our terms, like our pet panacea, everybody will say, if you take that, then you will be cured. If you do this, then everything will be all right. Some such sentimental feeling may be there. He says our words are like that, rather than the being in the anubhava of that radiance. Our terms, like our pet panacea and only ways, are apt to hide and falsify the Advaita, the unity essence, and integral awareness. Maharshi Ramana is Advaita experiencing, whose chief language is radiant silence, and mature psyches, familiar with solitude in and beyond loneliness and trying, can smile calmly in response. Maharshi Ramana is the Advaita Anubhava, the Anubhava of the one alone, the self alone is, whose chief language, the chief language of that Anubhava, Advaitic Anubhava, is radiant silence, and mature psyches, familiar with solitude in and beyond loneliness and beyond trying, can smile calmly in response to Bhagavan, can be in that Maunam. During our stay at Arunachala, we had no question to Bhagavan. During our stay at Arunachala, we asked no question, and Ramana radiated chiefly in silence. Sunita Baba is saying when they visited the 4 or 5 times, they would essentially be in the silence and Bhagavan would be radiating that in his sannidhi. But a few times he made us speak, and he appeared to be interested in a Nordic Paramahamsa, Hans Christian Andersen. During our stay at Arunachala, we asked no question, and Ramana radiated chiefly in silence. But a few times he made us speak, and he appeared to be interested in a Nordic Paramahamsa, Hans Christian Andersen. So Bhagavan's interest in the spiritual sources so wide, and Bhagavan points out to them in their own place in Denmark. Hans Christian Andersen is a great storyteller known for his fairy tales. Some mystic and esoteric lore, as worded in Christian Bible, was mentioned. So not only did he talk about that mystic, the fairy tale writer Hans Christian Andersen, Bhagavan also highlighted some mystic content from the Christian Bible, the esoteric lore. The prodigal son who came to himself. So the story of the prodigal son is a very famous account from Christianity, from the Bible, where a rich person awaits the return of a son who goes out on his own and then comes back seeking his source. I am that I am. And the words exchanged between Saint Nicodemus and the Christ, conscious Jesus, then Miriam, regarding the mystic death and awakening, art thou a sage in Israel and ignorant of this? Now this is in reference to Saint Nicodemus, who comes to visit Jesus, and he asks about what is it to be born again. Jesus keeps telling everyone, you have to be born again. Nicodemus asks, how am I, a 70-year-old, to be born again? Then Jesus gives the clue. What is born of the flesh is only flesh. What is born of water and spirit alone can be born again. That means the enlightenment or rebirth into spirituality, the Navam, is only a spiritual transformation, not a bodily rebirth. You don't mistake it like that. That is the exchange. And finally, it ends by asking, art thou a sage in Israel? Ignorant of this, you don't even know that to be born again is to be born in the spirit. Are you to be called a sage in Israel? Is how the dialogue ends. So that is also recalled by Bhagwan amongst these Christian mystics who come to visit him. Then we spoke of some of the Beatitudes. Be still, and these Beatitudes are those statements by Jesus. Says the meek shall inherit the earth. Like that, there is a series of blessings that who will come to spirituality. That is also exchange between Bhagwan and this group, including Sunita Baba. Be still and know thyself that thou art God. Know ye that ye are gods, more than human. This is the content from Bible that Bhagwan has discussed with them, according to Sunita Baba. Know, in our translation, would naturally be experience. For mere knowing, understanding, fitful visions, Pisgha Darshan of the inner realm of grace are not enough. So, in our understanding of Bhagwan, merely knowing is not enough. It should be anubhavam. Merely darshan of a summit. The Pisgha Darshan, I saw the dictionary, it means seeing a summit. Those things are not enough. Coming to Bhagavan should translate into anubhavam of the Advaitic experience, the radiant silence. One must awaken maturely and abidingly to experience and to live out from the essence and integrality in calm, radiant Ananda, as did Ramana Maharshi. So what is Sunita Baba telling us? One must awaken maturely and abidingly to experience and live out from the essence and integrality in calm, radiant Ananda, as did Ramana Maharshi. Bhagavan, of course, towards the end of his description of his first death experience, says that I had no idea that I have to live out of the self, that I have to lead a life being in the self, self-abidingly. I did not know this previously, he would conclude. So one has to learn the art of living in and out of that self or silence or radiant Ananda. Experience must become experiencing. An anubhava, which sporadically comes in dhyana or vichara, should slowly convert by anubhavam into our very nature, into experiencing. It should become the adhara, from out of which the life is happening. So, in symbols and in word-free silence, we spoke of Meister Eckhart, William Blake, Jacob Boehm, Soren Kierkegaard, Existential Leap of Kierkegaard, Chao Chu, Weiland Hunen, and the Maharishi was all these and more. These are all great philosophers, poets. Meister Eckhart is a great German spiritualist, mystic who lived 1,000 years ago. William Blake is an English poet, mystic poet. Jacob Boehm is once again a German philosopher. Soren Kierkegaard is from Denmark. Chao Chu, Wei Liang or Gyuneng, they are Buddhist, I think, monastic heads. All these have come in discussions, and Sunita Baba is saying the Maharishi was all these people and more. Then there was silence in heaven for half an hour or for a time-free while, and suddenly out from the pure Akasha and living silence, there sounded upon us, we are always aware. Bhagavan tells this phrase from out of that silence because it is coming by Bhagavan's own impetus. The writer, Sunita Baba, gives great value to that. Bhagavan is said to have told them, we are always aware. It was not as answer to any conscious questioning, yet the words were opposite, strikingly confirming and helpful. The Upadesham of Bhagavan to them, which remained with them, is that we are always aware. In the mystic north, we had already in the 20s used such favorite phrases as ego conceit, ego pride of agency, spiritual suffering is a contradiction in terms, bondage is delusive, and awareness is all. This last dictum, awareness is all, is built upon Shakespeare's rightness is all. Maturity is all, also in babes and in pupils, but to be suddenly reminded and made aware that we are always aware was a startling and wider truth, though not uttered into the ego that asserts. The after hush seemed to reveal, why assert when we are always aware and eternally aware? Why should we assert? Simply be the awareness in graceful radiance and in Purna integrality. Do not assert or fuss. We are always aware. It resounded in consciousness like a clear chime, a pure note struck in the Akasha silence as an echo of Sri Arunachala and the inner Dakshinamurti. It was like the stately Vedic hymn of projection, or like Shankara's refrain, I am eternal Ananda, I am eternal awareness, I am Shiva, Shivoham, the final assertion. The rest is silence. We are the awareness, the Purna, the experiencing. Therefore, Sri Ramana's gay and mature statement, uttered upon Sri Simplex and reminding himself in us, we are always aware, raised in babyhood, before desires and mind, assert in power, willfulness, and blur in conceit and agency. But we always consciously aware and awarely free in ego ways and duality play. Are we the Sahaja awareness in natural spirituality? Yes. In the psyche, as in Swa, there is ever the central Akashic memory of integrality, of the non-dual essence, of wholeness experiencing. So what Baba is saying is that this is not something that ego has to acquire. It is there in the psyche already. Swadarshanam is ever Swalila. We are the awareness in every form and interplay. So why not be word free, home free, time free, artists in life without psychic strain, tension, or disease? I'll read that again. Sunita Baba is asking us, why not abide in that silence, the radiant Ananda, that we are always aware. We are the awareness in every form and interplay. So why not be word free, be free of words, home free, be free of any resting place, this is my place, and time-free artists in life without psychic strain, tension, or disease. Just be in the Jnanam Anantam, be in the Anandam, be in the Swaswarupam, is what he tells us. Therefore, we'll continue by Bhagavan's grace to read from this account. Om Namo Bhagavate Shri Ramaya.
Namo Ramana. That was a very beautiful explanation as well as reading, because very often, as I have read the account myself, and I know that it is so full, it is so cryptic, as Nandakumarji told us at the beginning, and these explanations have highlighted for us the beauty of Shunyata Baba's writing and many of the phrases and the insights, very beautiful insights which I did not grasp on in the reading, came to me today. My thanks to Nandakumarji for those insights into the reading as well. We continue with the self-inquiry session conducted by Dilip Sinha.
Namo Ramana. Dhyayet Sharada Chandra Sundara Mukam Tamraravindekshana Bhaktabhishthavaradhayapradakaram Kaupinamatrojvalam Svatmanandarasanubhutivivasham Sarvanavadyangakam Shrimantam Shri Ramaneshwaram Guruvaram Yogasanadhyasitam Dhyayet Shri Ramaneshwaram Dhyayet Shri Ramaneshwaram Dhyayet Shri Ramaneshwaram. We have been reading from Guru Vachaka Kovai before starting the meditation to listen to Bhagavan's Upadesham. And today Bhagavan has blessed us from the chapter Meditation on the Truth, and the topic is freedom from vasanas, that is mental habits and tendencies. Verse 675. You should go beyond meditating at specific periods of the day and continuously practice self-abidance at all times. This shaving of the hairs, which are the itching vasanas, so that they do not sprout as thoughts through the brain, is the excellent and true shaving of the head that is prescribed for sannyasis. Bhagavan has something to say from Aksharamanamala on this, in which he says, how wonderful it is that you have shaved my head clean, O Arunachala, and are now dancing a joyous dance in the heart's vast empty space. In his commentary on this Aksharamanamala verse, Muruganar clearly equates the shaving of the head with the destruction of the vasanas, vasanakshayam. As Nandakumarji very beautifully read out, we have to remain in the experience of the self. that is the self-abidance at all times. And therefore, we have to understand that we have to remove all the vasanas. It is the vasanas which appear in the form of thoughts and seemingly make us feel that we have moved away from the self-abidance. As it was repeatedly said, we are the awareness. We are that self. But the thought which rises in the mind, grabbing our attention, grabbing that reality which we are, seems to take us away from the truth, from that self-abidance. And therefore it is important to gain this freedom from vasanas, is what Bhagavan is saying here. And that freedom from vasanas cannot be achieved by any other effort other than self-abidance, by abiding in the self. And we see that the self-abidance comes about only when the vasanas are removed, but the vasanas get removed only through self-abidance. So then, though it looks very paradoxical, what Bhagavan has given us the path of Atma Vichara, wherein when the thoughts rise due to vasanas, he says instead of pursuing the thought, we should inquire to whom is this. Thereupon we recognize it is for me, I. Therefore, we have seen that though there is the undivided awareness, there has been a division now, a limitation so-called created, that I, that is I am believing, limited to this body. In the undivided self, a division has been created. We become aware when we ask the question, to whom is this thought? And thereupon Bhagavan says, inquire, then who is the real I? What is the real source of this I? Or where from this I rises within me? When we do so, then this limited I that we have assumed is when we question, when we inquire into the source of that I, we are taken to that undivided awareness, which alone is which. And therefore we have cleaned, shaven all the hairs, all the itching created by these vasanas, we have cleaned them. And by repeatedly removing this hair, which keeps growing until it is all gone, we should keep on inquiring each thought, and by repeatedly inquiring, and to whom is this, and therefore recognizing it is for me, and who am I, and trying to go to the source of the I, which takes us to self-abidance here and now with the question, with the very inquiry of who am I, we are taken into the self-abidance, and we have also transcending, we have also removed the itching vasana, which makes us move away from that. So this self-abidance and the transcending of the thought happens with this Atma Vichara, which is the beauty of Atma Vichara. And therefore, Bhagavan very quickly removes all the vasanas and removes all the hair which are growing and makes us clean, makes us the sannyasi, makes us one with that self, the self-abiding one. That is the beauty of this Atma Vichara. This we have to recognize. And therefore we should hold on to Atma Vichara, no matter how many thoughts rises within us, and whatever may be the quality of the thought that may rise within us. If we just hold on to Atma Vichara, we can be rest assured that not only we will be removing all these vasanas which have been continuously rising and making us seemingly move away from the self, it also makes us abide in the self then and there. And by this continuous effort, Bhagavan assures there will come a time when the mind will steadfastly remain in the self. And until such time, we should diligently inquire every thought that rises within us. The immense grace of Bhagavan, with which alone we could have come to this direct path, with which alone we can do this true Atma Vichara, with which alone we can transcend those vasanas and remain in that self with the inquiry, who am I? Let us do Atma Vichara for the next 10.
have the sharing by Sri Venkatesh Deshpande. This is Bhagwan Ramana's Gita Sara, Bhagwan's compilation and actually translation of some of the verses come into his Nibandham also, I think. This is the Gita Sara, is a selection from the Bhagavad Gita by Bhagavan, and Venkatesh Ji is dwelling on these verses for us.
Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramanaya. Om Vasudeva Satam Devam Kansachanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Om Shantakaram Bhujagashayanam Padmanabham Suresham Vishwadharam Gaganasudrisham Meghavarnam Shubhangam Lakshmikantam Kamalanayanam Yogiradhyanagamyam Vande Vishnum Bhavayaharam Sarvalokaikanaatham. Om. By Bhagwan's grace, we are doing manana on the Bhagavad Gita Sara. We are doing manana on the verse 36, which is the chapter 12, verse number 15. I request Sapna to kindly chant the please.
Yes, sir. अथ श्रीमद्भगवद्गीता सारः यस्मान्नो द्विजते लोको लोकान्नो द्विजते च यः हर्षामर्षभयोद्वेगैः मुक्तो यः स च मे प्रियः यस्मान्नो द्विजते लोको लोकान्नो द्विजते च यः हर्षामर्षभयोद्वेगैः मुक्तो यः स च मे प्रियः. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. The one from whom the world does not get disturbed, the one who does not get disturbed by the world, and the one who has rid himself of exaltation, intolerance, fright, and agitation is very dear to me, the Supreme Lord. Normally, especially in the modern days, our ego is so high that we are very sensitive and reactive about what others say about us or their conduct towards us. We imagine insult where there is none. We get perturbed by others' indifference towards us also. But for a seeker in the spiritual path, no words, no actions, and no conduct of others should cause even a ripple. Similarly, an evolved person will not utter any words, conduct himself, or do any act which causes any provocation to others. For instance, when once Bhagwan Ramana was to leave the room where he was sitting with various devotees in the ashram, he found the exit door blocked by a number of people sitting there. When the attendant was asked, when the attendant was about to ask all of them to move out and give way for Bhagwan to leave, Bhagwan bade him to be quiet and not to distract them. He himself walked out through another door in the room, even though it was a circuitous way and he had to walk more. Similarly, even when some of the questioners were aggressive in their attitude and put questions in a rude manner, Bhagwan never lost his equanimity and equipoise. When once a person virtually lacks any reaction to others, being indifferent or aggressive towards him, or when they conduct themselves in an insulting manner, and similarly is very careful not to cause any offense or any mental disturbance to anybody in the world, such a person who neither gets disturbed by anybody nor causes mental disturbance to others can be considered as having reached the end of the spiritual journey. So in the US, they have an event where it's called a roast. Roast is an event where almost exclusively, basically in the United States, in which an individual is subjected to a public presentation of comedic insults, praise, outlandish true and untrue stories, and heartwarming tributes. The implication being that the roastee is able to take the jokes in good humor and not as a serious criticism or insult, and therefore show their good nature. So basically, they meet, people meet together and they identify one person and they praise him, they insult him, they do everything to him. It is seen by some as a great honor to be roasted, as the individual is surrounded by friends, fans, and well-wishers who can receive some of the same treatment as well during the course of the evening. The party and the presentation itself are both referred to as a roast. In our life, when we are dealing with other people, it is inevitable that we will experience a whole host of emotional reactions to what those people say to us. Four common reactions are excitement on hearing something pleasant, irritation on hearing something unpleasant, fear on hearing something worrisome, and agitation when meeting someone that has the upper hand in the conversation. But in a roast, this is a very important thing that we need to think about. But in a roast, the individually happily accepts all sorts of abuses and insults because he knows that they are all coming from his friends and well-wishers, people that he knows as his own, not separate from him. At the end of the roast, the individual in turn insults and abuses the people that insulted him earlier, and no one feels any ill will towards him for the same reasons. Similarly, the devotee who considers everyone and everything as the play of Ishvara, and this is important thing for all of us as sadhakas. Similarly, the devotee who considers everyone and everything as the play of Ishvara, including himself, has no reason to take anything personally. His sense of self is not the small ego that most of us consider as our I. He has identified with Ishvara, who runs multitudes of universes. So any sort of insult, agitation, or fear dissipates instantly because he views the insult, the insulter, and the recipient of the insult as Ishvara. This is a beautiful sentence. Any sort of insult, agitation, or fear dissipates instantly because he views the insult, the insulter, and the recipient of the insult as Ishvara. So he thinks of it as a play where his friends are the actors and directors. Shri Krishna says that such a person who's free from agitation and who does not agitate anyone else is basically very dear to me. So Krishna basically says that there are four areas that bother most people. He says that Sri Krishna describes some more qualities that develop in his devotees, not a source of an annoyance to anyone. So this is 3-4 areas that Sri Krishna is saying, not a source of annoyance to anyone. Devotion melts and softens the heart, And so the devotees naturally become gentle in their dealing with everyone. Because of the devotion to Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna says that what happens is there's no source of annoyance. They're not agitated by anyone. Second one, though devotees never hurt others, it does not mean that others do not try to hurt them. The history of saints around the world reveals that during their lifetime, those who felt threatened by their welfare work and principle often oppressed them. So even Goswami Shivananda also says, bear insult, bear injury. When you bear insult and bear injury, what is happening is you are able to see and if somebody insults you, Shivananda says that you should pray for him because he does not know what he is doing, so you should pray for him. So this is a very important aspect about not being agitated by anyone. Equal in pleasure and pain. Devotees are equipped with the wisdom of scriptures and hence are aware that pleasure and pain are both inevitable in the flow of life, just like the passing summer and winter season. So that's another thing is whenever, it's a very funny thing today, it happened in my own house that my wife wanted to cook something and she told me to cut some onions and tomatoes. And suddenly my sister called at the same time and she had gifted me one chopper. So she told me, why don't you use the chopper? I've been telling you to use the chopper. So use the chopper and cut the onions and tomatoes. So I washed the chopper and cut the onions and tomatoes and I kept it. So I was feeling happy about it because I'd used the chopper. Suddenly, after some time, my wife says, she comes and says, hey, I told you to cut 3 tomatoes. I don't think so. You cut 3 tomatoes. You probably cut only 2 tomatoes. So look at the situation. Now, I have cut 3 tomatoes. I know that I've cut 3 tomatoes, but there were smaller tomatoes. So the amount of cut tomatoes was less. But the same situation where at one point in the same act, in one point where I was feeling happy about using this new cutter, the same situation there, my wife said that, hey, you actually cut 3 tomatoes. So what I'm trying to say is life gives you different experiences at different points of time, and it's important to be equipoised. Then the last one is free from fear and anxiety. Everything is Bhagwan Swarupa, so you should be free from fear and anxiety. May Bhagwan give us all the strength to be able to be in that roast and be the roasty who can take anything and everything happily and with a smile on our face. Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramanaya. Jai Shri Krishna.
Namo Ramana. The satsang continues with a sharing from Dr. Kala Rani Randasamy on Devi Kalotara Vichara Atma Vichara Padala, Jnana Vichara Padala.
Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramanaya. Arunachalamena நினைப்பவர் அகத்தை வேறறுப்பாய் அருணாச்சலம். Namo Ramana to all. Abundant grace of Bhagwan Ramana, meditating on the Kalutara Jnana very graciously given to us by Bhagwan. And that Satsangh that சித்த நிலை நிற்க முக்தி சித்தமிது. It is not the family alone that is samskaram, it is the mind. When it moves outwardly, that is samsara. When we discriminate between right, wrong, dharma, nyaya, anyaya, good, bad, samsara. The great mumukshu. I think this was a great
mind. But what happened? A cobbler crossing that way saw him backward, and it was a cry of compassion. He placed a pair of very ordinary slippers in front of that sage. He was not very particular in wearing it, but without his knowledge, he slipped on his foot into that slipper. And after crossing the hard, sandy river, he removed them and walked in his own way. But for this action of his, he was to take another berth in the cobbler's house and was to help him. And in that Janma, he attained moksha. That's what the story goes. So, Bhagavan says, Sittam Siridu Asaya Samsaram. The slightest oscillation in the mind becomes samsara, and that becomes the seed for the next birth. Then what can we do? Bhagavan says in the next stanza, Sitta Nilai Nirka Mukti. Sitta. That is definite. Rest on that. When mind merges within its source, it will be calm. Say, for example, the waves in the ocean, when it comes out of the sea and assumes a separate identity as waves, how it sounds with great excitement. They dance, touches the shore, and goes back. And when they go back and merge into the sea, there is no separate identity as wave. They are the sea water only. And at that place, that is in the middle of the ocean, we can find such a beautiful calmness. Likewise, till the mind is out of its source, it looks so excited, reacts for everything. When there is happening that pleases the mind becomes happy. On the contrary, when something happens which does not give happiness, instead sorrow, the mind becomes restless. But once it merges with the Atman, its source, there is no place for happiness or sorrow. All looks same. Tirumular, a beautiful poet, a saint poet, he says, Irumbum chembonnum ukkave nokkuvar. But at that state, the person will consider the piece of iron and the piece of gold as equal. That is the state of a mukti. In that state, there is no anger, no jealousy, no desire, no discrimination, no excitement, no expectation. Everything is left with the God. As Bhagavan said, Ninishtam, Inishtam. He had Arunachali on Sri Tiruvannamalai for the first. Nothing is mine. When there is no ahankara, the identity, and mamahara, the possessiveness, there is absolutely no doubt for ananda. The person can be ever in ananda. What is that state? What is that sitta nilai nirka? Because one says that is mukti. What is that state? How can one be in that state? There is no special state. It is actually one natural state. In Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna says about jnana and knowing Atma is jnana. Knowing about Atma is jnana. Remaining without forgetting Atma is smriti. Forgetting all that is anatma is abhoganam. Just forget anatma, Shreya. All worldly happiness is anatma. Don't divert the chitta towards that, because that can bring only sorrow. Just sometimes it may be happy, but after some time the same happiness may turn into sorrow. Just that is the gravity gravitational pull of the senses. Is it possible to forget the Anatma Vishaya? Not really very easy, but once we turn our attention from Vishaya to the Atman, we will slowly start forgetting the Anatma Vishaya. We can remove our mind from the Anatma Vishaya towards Atma. When the attention is increasing towards Atma, at one stage, even the thought of Anatma does not exist. That is because one will be in a state of seeing everything as Atma. And there is nothing as Anatma at all. So Samadhi is nothing but forgetting the Anatma Vishaya and see Atma in all. Ennuriyavum இறை உருவாம் என எண்ணி வழிபடல் உந்தி பெற. Bhagavan says in Upadesa Undiya. Moreover, avataram is not a rare thing. Incarnation is not a rare thing. Even in our life, many times, whenever we think in many forms, God manifests himself in some form or the other. When we say this is avatara of Muruga, Krishna, Shiva, we say that there may be some doubt may arise. Are these avatars are with Panchakoshas? Leave alone that whether they are going with Panchakosha or not. But they are like this because they want to show us that you are also not with Panchakoshas. The Panchakosha in the world are not real. They are not even everlasting. They are not everlasting. Say for example, Bhumi means that can be swallowed by water. Water by Agni. Agni with mind. Wind. And wind with Akasha. And mind is Akasha. And mind can be dissolved in Swarupa. So Swarupa alone exists. Atma alone remains. So there is nothing other than Atma. Vedamura palavidamai pesi enna. Ribuguidai says, we can find discriminations, we can find different things, variety of things. A pesi enna payan. What is the benefit of seeing the different things? Kirivatra aganda para brahmandane madava ning nijan sarupam. Akanta para brahma is only your real nature. That is the real nature. So seeing everything as Swarupa is jnana, that is samadhi. In that state, one can treat all equal. There will be no discrimination. Bhagavan lived as an example for this. All are equal in front of him. To depict this, a devotee painted Bhagavan when he was in Virupaksha cave, and in his Sannati he painted like this: peacock, serpent, mongoose. They are all playing great friendship without any difference. They are forgetting their immunity. They were playing with each other. Once, I'll tell you another example. Two yogis, they were actually husband and wife. They were walking on the seashore of Tiruchendur, one of the 6 abodes of Muruga. On their way, the husband came across a big piece of diamond on the sand. He thought, my wife may be a very great yogini, but she is also a woman, isn't it? If she sees this piece of diamond, she might incline to take that in her hand. So what he did was, he covered the diamond with a sand, and he was very careful that his wife does not see it. After some time, when they were sitting on the seashore and having a chat, the husband explained this incident to his wife. His wife asked him very calmly, "Oh, you could still differentiate between a diamond from an ordinary stone, isn't it? This very calm question turned that husband's life, and that spark gave him jnana. That's what Purana says. So, forgetting anatma is jnana, and that is the state of samadhi, mukti. Bhagavan in this tells a beautiful mukti. Bhagavan says, Sittamide. This is the truth. This is just this. And that is the truth. Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramanaya.
Namo Ramana.
Namo Ramana.
Ujjwal Jagdish will now share with us verses from Ramana Chatvarimshat of Ganapati Muni.
Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramanaya. We are meditating on the verses of Ramana Chatvarimshat, written by Ganapati Muni and compiled by Bhagavan Sri Ramana Maharshi in this format. Dharani dhara jangamapi tyajata dharani talavasitamo dutaye naraveshabrita nagarandra krita ramanena sanatamidam bhuvanam ramanena sanatamidam bhuvanam ramanena sanatamidam bhuvanam girijaya madilanu saha tyajisida dharani talavasikala ತಮಹರಿಸಲು ನರರೂಪ ತಾಳಿಹನು ಗಿರಿಯ ಭೇದಿಸಿದವ ರಮಣನಿಂದ ಪತಿಯ ಪಡೆದಿಹುದಿ ಭುವನ ರಮಣನಿಂದ ಪತಿಯ ಪಡೆದಿಹುದಿ ಭುವನ ರಮಣನಿಂದ ಪತಿಯ ಪಡೆದಿಹುದಿ Bhuvana. Ganapati Muni says that Ramana, leaving his supreme abode in Kailasa, the supreme abode where he is enjoying the comfort of the lap of his mother Girije, he has left that and he has come to Arunachala. And K. Swaminathan, Professor K. Swaminathan says he left the comforting lap of Mother Meenakshi and he has come to the feet of Arunachala, the feet of Arunachala. Dharani Tala Vasita. Why has he come? He has come to destroy the ignorance. He is none other than the Kartikeya Subramanya himself, who long time ago he destroyed this mountain, the Krauncha Giri, which represents all the darkness, all the ignorance, and which represents all our age-old tendencies that we are carrying from ages. He has come to destroy all of those in a trice and fill us with light and joy. And this has made the Mother Earth rejoice, and she is rejoicing that the Lord, the leader of this world, has come to save us. In one of our children's production, all the children meet together during the summer time after their examination, and they're all having a chat, and they say, do you know what date is coming up soon? It is April 22nd. And do you know what is that speciality of that day? April 22nd, which was 2 days ago. It is Mother Earth's birthday party. It is celebrated as International Earth Day. So it is Mother Earth's birthday party. So come, let us all celebrate the Mother Earth's birthday party. And they all sing, Birthday, birthday, Mother Earth's birthday. Be a part of it and let us pave the way to keep her happy ever. Come, let us all say, happy birthday, Mama, happy Earth Day. Happy birthday, Mama, happy Earth Day. So they all plan various things to make the mother happy all the time. But when we wonder, what does Mother Earth want to make her happy? She herself has all the riches, all the treasures within us, and she doesn't use any of those treasures. It is all for her children that she has kept. And when we think what will make her happy, the only thing which makes her happy is the welfare of all her children. When we say the children of Mother Earth, she does not mean only the human beings. We should realize that human beings are the youngest of all her children. And before being the mother to the human beings, she has been a mother to plants and trees and algae and aquatic animals, amphibians, and then various terrestrial animals, the reptiles and the birds and the monkeys and the mammals. And the human being is the youngest of all the creatures. So what would make her happy if all her children are living in joy and harmony? That alone can make her happy. So whenever there is a difficulty, she finds that there is some difficulty appearing with her children. It is told in our Puranas that she takes the form of the Kamadhenu and goes and prays to Lord Vishnu. Vishnu, there is difficulty, there is a need for you to incarnate in the earth and save us. And we all know how to save the Mother Earth from all the difficulties and save all her children, all the children of Mother Earth from all the difficulties. He had to come as Rama. And we celebrated his coming a few days ago too. And when he came to the Mother, to Earth in his incarnation, he played the Leela of giving away the Padukas to Bharata. And by this, Mother Earth enjoyed the sparsha of that Supreme One. In one of our dance ballets, Jagadish Ramana, where we have the scene of Rangan. The Rangan and Ramana are going around Arunachala, and Rangan notices that there are so many thorns in the feet of Ramana. Then first, before that, Rangan has been pricked by a thorn, and Ramana removes it with great compassion, and he sings with joy. Yavana Svarushava Bhayasuta Yenito Savira Varushava Tapasanu Madi Dharani Abhagyava Padayitu Yaude Tapavannu Ariyada Nanagu Prema Vasuriyuta Nidihanu. The sparsha which Mother Earth got after years and years of tapasya, I have got so easily. Without any tapas, without knowing any tapas, Ramana has come to our lives and he has touched our lives, said Rangan. And they continued their walk, and while continuing the walk, Rangan noticed that there are thorns in Ramana's feet. And then he told Ramana, I see there are thorns in your feet. Can I remove them? And they both sat down, and when Rangan saw the feet of Bhagavan Ramana, he saw that feet was filled with thorns. And when he checked out the other feet, even that feet was full of thorns. And Ramana, with a smile, told Ranga, which thorn will you remove? This thorn doesn't harm anyone. Leave it as it is. And then Ramana started moving, and there is a song where the emotion, the experience of Rangan is described. Dharanige navu arito ariyadeyo nidiha novella nigudakke. Dharanige navu arito ariyadeyo nidiha novella nigu sudake. ಕೋಮಲ ಪಾದದಿ ಧರಣಿಯ ಸವರುತ ಮುಳ್ಳನ್ನು ತಾ ಸ್ವೀಕರಿಸಿದನೋ ಭೂಮಿನಾಥ ಸ್ವೀಕರಿಸಿದನೋ ರಮಣೇಶ ಸ್ವೀಕರಿಸಿದನೋ ಸ್ವೀಕರಿಸಿದನೋ. Rangan says that we have been causing difficulty to the Mother Earth knowingly or unknowingly, and all these are pricking her like the thorns, and Ramana has come to accept all these thorns to relieve the Mother Earth from all her pains. Ramana has come to Tiruvannamalai, to Arunachala. He has taken incarnation as the Supreme God, as the leader of the world, as the Pati of the Bhuvana. And R.N. Gopal translates this very same emotion in his translation as ಭೂಮಿ ತಾಯಿಗೆ ಭಾವಾನಂದ ಭಗವಾನ್ ರಮಣರ ಅವತಾರದಿಂದ ಸೋಕಲು ಅವರ ಪಾದಾರವಿಂದ ಅರುಣಾದ್ರಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ದಿವ್ಯಾನಂದ. By the coming of Ramana, the Mother Earth is filled with Bhavananda, and there is joy everywhere. At Tiruvannamalai, and the Mother Earth revealed her joy as if she was shedding the tears of joy as soon as Ramana came to Tiruvannamalai on the September 1st, 1896. It started raining heavily, and it started raining. Why? To save all the people with the Suddhi, with the message that the incarnation of the Supreme has happened, and all the darkness is going to get afflicted. All that the thirst that one is suffering from is going to get destroyed. So it started raining very heavily, and Mother Earth reminded us that Ramana has come, and His grace is ever flowing. So it rained for 3 days continuously, remembering that ever-flowing grace which has come to our lives, which has touched our heart, and it has shown us the path to be free from all the afflictions and all the pain by being abiding in the self. And Bhagavan Ramana, he himself says, the best service that you can do to the whole world is to know let all self and do the best service that we can do to Mother Earth, who is rejoicing by the coming of Bhagavan Ramana. Om Namo Bhagavate Shri Ramanaya.
Namo Ramana. Prostrations to Ramana, shining is the self in all beings. By the immense grace of that self manifest as Bhagavan Ramana, we are meditating on the Ramana Ashtottara Namavali of Vishwanatha Swami, and we had meditated on the words Sundaraya Tapaphalaya Namaha and moved on to Kamaniya Sucharitraya Namaha. But when I heard about the birth of Sri Rama, Ameshwar narrating the birth of Sri Rama, in Adhyatma Ramayana, Sri Rama tells Kausalya, he tells her, you and Dasharatha have performed immense austerities, great penance for bearing me as your son. So my mind went back to Sundaraya Tapaphalaya Namaha. Bhagavan was born as the fruit of the great penance of Sundaramaya and Alagammal. And here, as I said, Vishwanatha Swami is mentioning Sundaramaya alone because Alagamma is his Ardhangi. She is contained in Sundaramaya. So when he says Sundaraya Tapaphalaya Namaha, and Sundara, she is contained in him, by technically, I mean in the dharmic sense, by being his Ardhangi, by being his half, and also in his name being one with him. Alagu, Sundaram pol ahamum niyuvutru, avinnama irupom Arunachala. Bhagavan himself has paid a tribute to his parents, saying that you and I should be one like Alagu and Sundaram. In the Aksharamanamale, Bhagavan has thus glorified his parents. Both the words Alagu and Sundaram mean the same thing. So when Vishwanatha Swami says Sundararya Tapappalam, it is obviously Alagamma's Tapappalam also is Bhagavan. And by saying Alaga Sundaram pol Agamum Niyumutru Abhinama Irupom, Bhagavan is also indicating to us how they were one actually in their mind, one in their dharma, one in their understanding of that dharma, and one in the manifestation of love for one and all. And from that dharma, from that love was born Bhagavan. Bhagavan is the ripeness, the fruit of that penance, the fruit of the tapas which leads to pure knowledge. We looked at that. It is tapas, that tapas vindatiha jivastu devikaha. This is the great Maharidam tapo ramanavagiyam. Aham apetakam nijavidhanakam Maharidam tapo ramanavagiyam. This is the great tapas. That great tapas of the destruction of the ego. And what is that fruit? Vishwanatha Swami is giving us a glimpse in this next nama by saying, Kamaniya Sucharatraha. When one reaches the fruition of one's tapas, then what manifests after that is the true and beautiful life. That is what is Bhagavan's life. That is the example which he gives to us. The epitome of the wonder and beauty of self-knowledge. Even Rama is often adorned by the adjective Kamaniya. Kamaniya is very beautiful. That beautiful life of Bhagavan. That is what we see. So it is Alagu Sundaram's fruit of that beauty of union of Alagu and Sundaram becomes Kamaniya. That is also beautiful. That is the maximum, the pinnacle of beauty is manifest in the life of Bhagavan. Sucharitraha, the beautiful life of Bhagavan. And the devotee, Y.B. Venkateshwara Rao, whose song was also presented by Radha today, he says in another song of his, Ramana Charita Chintana Nasha Bhavada Bandhana. He says, if you think of Ramana's life, Ramana Madhura Nama Paramakanti Deepa Ramana Charita Chintana Namsha Bhavada Bandhana. If you think of Bhagavan's life, you meditate on Bhagavan's life, then all the bondage will be destroyed, he says. And we will find that's why Vishwanatha Swami is saying, Sucharitraha. That charitra is so pure, it is so beautiful and pure, it is the best. Charitra also means character. Sucharitra means also one of beautiful character. He who has a wonderful and beautiful character. All his characteristics are beautiful. All his characteristics, all his gunas, all the wonderful gunas, he is imbued with. The best of qualities is imbued with. So that is also the meaning of Kamaniya Sucharitraya Namaha. And what are all the gunas? The greatest guna is that he is ever abiding in the self. Therefore, everything else is not even a guna. Says Ganapati Muni, Na karuna guna ramana tava vidampate ramana hridaya tejasa ramana sahajamevate. Karuna, compassion is not a guna, it's not a characteristic. It is natural to you. So all that Sucharitra is very natural. It is something which springs naturally from Bhagavan's fullness of abidance in the self. Let us meditate upon his life, upon any of the incidents from his life, to be liberated from our bondage. Let us repeatedly meditate on his life, and when we look at the glory of Bhagavan's love, his equality, all these come to us when we look at his life. We see all these characteristics springing forth naturally from his being, and we are purified by such meditation. Om Namo Bhagavate Shri Ramanaya. We go on to the chanting of Arunachala Aksharamana Mali verses by Radha and Vallabh, which will be followed by Ashtotra Puja to Bhagavat at Subramaniam's altar, and the Ashtotram will be chanted by Vaibhavji and Prarthana and Ashwini and
Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala. முட்டையடித்தனை வெட்ட வெளியில் நீ நடமாடின என் அருணாச்சலா. மோகம் தவிர்த்தும் உன் மோகம் அவைத்தும் என் மோகம் தீராயேன் அருணாச்சலா. மௌனிய கற்போல் மலராதிருந்தால் மௌனமிதாமோ அருணாச்சலா. எவனின் வாயின் மண்ணினையட்டி என் பிழை பொழித்த அருணாச்சலா. யாரும் அறியாதென் மதியினை மருட்டி எவர் கொள்ளை கொண்ட அருணாச்சலா. ரமணன் என்றுரைத்தேன் ரோஷம் கொள்ளாதேனை ரமித்திட செய்யவா அருணாச்சலா. ராப்பகலில்லா வெறு வெளி வீட்டில் ரமித்திடுவோம் அருணாச்சலா. லட்சியம் வைத்தருளஸ்திரம் விட்டென்னை பக்ஷித்தாய் பிராணனோடு அருணாச்சலா. லாபநீக பர லாபம் என்னை உற்று லாபம் என்றுற்றனை அருணாச்சலா. வரும்படி சொல்லில்லை வந்தென்படி அள வருந்திடும் தலை விதி அருணாச்சலா. வாவென்றகம் புக்கும் வாழ்வருளன்று என் வாழ்விழுந்தேன் அருள் அருணாச்சலா. வீட்டிடு கஷ்டமா விட்டிடாதுனை உயிர் விட்டிட அருள் புரி அருணாச்சலா. அருணாச்சல சிவ அருணாச்சல சிவ அருணாச்சல சிவ 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 அருணாச்சலா. அருணாச்சல சிவ அருணாச்சலா. அருணாச்சல சிவ அருணாச்சலா. அருணாச்சலம் வாழ
भारद्वाज विश्वनाथ विरचितं श्रीरमणाष्टोत्तर शतनामावलिः अपार सच्चित् सुखवारिराशे यस्योमि मात्रं भुवनं समस्तं गुहाहितं तं रमणं गभीरं चिन्ताविहीनं हृदि चिन्तयामि। ॐ महासेन महोंसेन जाताय नमः। ॐ श्रीरमणाय नमः। ॐ गुरवे नमः। ॐ अखण्डसंविदाकाराय नमः। ॐ महौजसे नमः। ॐ कारणोद्भवाय नमः। ॐ जगद्दितावताराय नमः। ॐ श्रीभूमिनाथस्थलोत्थिताय नमः। ॐ पराशरकुलोत्तंसाय नमः। ॐ सुन्दरार्यतपःफलाय नमः। ॐ कमनीयसुचारित्राय नमः। ॐ सहायाम्बा सहायवते नमः। ॐ शोणाचलमहोदीनमानसाय नमः। ॐ स्वर्णहस्तकाय नमः। ॐ श्रीमद्द्वादशान्तमहास्थले लब्धविद्योदयाय नमः। ॐ महाशक्तिनिपातेन प्रबुद्धाय नमः। ॐ परमार्थविदे नमः। ॐ तीव्राय नमः। ॐ पितृपदान्वेषिणे नमः। ॐ इन्दुमौलिना पितृमते नमः। ॐ पितुरादेशतः शोणशैलं प्राप्ताय नमः। ॐ तपोमयाय नमः। ॐ उदासीनाय नमः। ॐ महायोगिने नमः। ॐ महोत्साहाय नमः। ॐ कुशाग्रधिये नमः। ॐ शान्तसङ्कल्पसंरम्भाय नमः। ॐ सुसन्दृशे नमः। ॐ सवित्रे नमः। ॐ स्थिराय नमः। ॐ तपक्षपितसर्वाङ्गाय नमः। ॐ फुल्लाम्बुजविलोचनाय नमः। ॐ चन्द्रिकासितः श्रीमण्डिताननमण्डलाय नमः। ॐ चूतवाट्यां समासीनाय नमः। ॐ चूणिताखिलविभ्रमाय नमः। ॐ वेदवेदान्ततत्त्वज्ञाय नमः। ॐ चिन्मुद्रिणे नमः। ॐ त्रिगुणातिकाय नमः। ॐ विरूपाक्षगुहावासाय नमः। ॐ विराजदशलाकृतये नमः। ॐ उदीक्तनयनाय नमः। ॐ पूर्णाय नमः। ॐ रचिताचलताण्डवाय नमः। ॐ गम्भीराय नमः। ॐ परमाचार्याय नमः। ॐ सुप्रसन्नाय नमः। ॐ अभयप्रदाय नमः। ॐ दक्षिणास्यनिभाय नमः। ॐ धीराय नमः। ॐ दक्षिणाभिमुखाय नमः। ॐ स्वराजे नमः। ॐ महर्षये नमः। ॐ भगवते नमः। ॐ ईड्याय नमः।
ॐ भूमविद्याविशारदाय नमः। ॐ विमलाय नमः। ॐ दीर्घदर्शिने नमः। ॐ आप्ताय नमः। ॐ ऋजुमार्गप्रदर्शकाय नमः। ॐ समदृशे नमः। ॐ सत्यदृशे नमः। ॐ सत्याय नमः। ॐ प्रशान्ताय नमः। ॐ अमितविक्रमाय नमः। ॐ सुकुमाराय नमः। ॐ सदानन्दाय नमः। ॐ मृदुभाषिणे नमः। ॐ दयार्णवाय नमः। ॐ श्री शोणाचल स्कन्दाश्रमनिकेतना चिन्न संशयाय नमः। ॐ वर्णाश्रममतातीताय नमः। ॐ रसज्ञाय नमः। ॐ सौम्याय नमः। ॐ आत्मवते नमः। ॐ सर्वावनिमतस्थानाम् आराध्याय नमः। ॐ सर्वसद्गुणिने नमः। ॐ आत्मारामाय नमः। ॐ महाभागाय नमः। ॐ मातृमुक्तिविधायकाय नमः। ॐ विनताय नमः। ॐ विनुताय नमः। ॐ विप्राय नमः। ॐ मुनीन्द्राय नमः। ॐ पावकोज्ज्वलाय नमः। ॐ दर्शनादकसंहारिणे नमः। ॐ मौनेन स्वात्मबोधकाय नमः। ॐ रुच्चान्तिकरसान्निध्याय नमः। ॐ स्मरणाद्बन्धमोचकाय नमः। ॐ अन्तस्तिमिरचण्डांशवे नमः। ॐ संसारार्णवतारकाय नमः। ॐ शोणाद्रीशस्तुतिद्रष्टे नमः। ॐ हार्दविद्याप्रकाशकाय नमः। ॐ अविच्युतनिजप्रज्ञाय नमः। ॐ नैसर्गिकमहातपसे नमः। ॐ कमण्डलुधराय नमः। ॐ शुभ्रकौपीनवसनाय नमः। ॐ गुहाय नमः। ॐ दण्डपाणये नमः। ॐ कृपापूर्णाय नमः। ॐ भवरोगविषग्वराय नमः। ॐ स्कन्दाय नमः। ॐ देवतमाय नमः। ॐ अमर्त्याय नमः। ॐ सेनान्ये नमः। ॐ पुरुषोत्तमाय नमः।
ॐ श्रीरमण भगवते नमः। श्रीरमणाष्टोत्तरशतनामपूजां समर्पयामि। यस्थाणोररुणाचलस्य पदयोः स्मृत्या जनिं प्राप्य तद् दिव्यानुग्रहसुप्रवाहविवशस्तादाज्ञभावं गतः हृन्निष्ठस्वगभीरनित्यतपसा लोकान् पुनास्येकराट् तस्मै श्रीरमणाय ते नम इदं लोकोत्तरज्योतिषे। नमो 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 रमण सदाशिव प्रभावरण नमो महर्षि नमो महर्षि दर्शन सुख मंगल मुख सकल जीवहित सम्मुख ब्रह्म संगिये नमो 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 रमण सदाशिव प्रभावरण नमो महर्षि नमो महर्षि सदा तुष्ट सदा हृष्ट सदा शिवानंद पुष्ट परम महर्षि ब्रह्मनिष्ठ समदर्शी नमो 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 रमण सदाशिव प्रभावरण नमो महर्षि नमो महर्षि ನಮ್ಮ ಮನವದೊಂದು ಕಾಡು ನೀನರಿತಿಹೆ ಅದರ ಜಾಡು ನಮ್ಮ ಮನವದೊಂದು ಕಾಡು ನೀನರಿತಿಹೆ ಅದರ ಜಾಡು ಹಿತವನರಿತು ನೀಡುತ್ತೆಮ್ಮ ಕೊರೆಯ ತಣಿಸಲೈ ಹಿತವನರಿತು ನೀಡುತ್ತೆಮ್ಮ ಕೊರೆಯ ತಣಿಸಲೈ ಬೇಡಲೆಂದು ಬಂದ ನಾವು ನೋಡಿಯೇ ತಣಿವೆವಯ್ಯ ಬೇಡಲೆಂದು ಬಂದ ನಾವು ನೋಡಿಯೇ ತಣಿವೆವಯ್ಯ ಮೋಡಿಗಾರನೇ ಮೋಡಿಗಾರನೇ ಹಿತವ ನುಡಿದು ಪೊರೆ ನಮ್ಮನು ಬ್ರಹ್ಮ ಸಂಘಿಯೇ ಹಿತವ ನುಡಿದು ಪೊರೆ ನಮ್ಮನು ಬ್ರಹ್ಮ ಸಂಘಿಯೇ ನಮೋ 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 ರಮಣ ಸದಾಶಿವ ಪ್ರಭಾವರಣ ನಮೋ ಮಹರ್ಷಿ ನಮೋ ಮಹರ್ಷಿ ನಮೋ 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 ರಮಣ ಸದಾಶಿವ ಪ್ರಭಾವರಣ ನಮೋ ಮಹರ್ಷಿ ನಮೋ ಮಹರ್ಷಿ बोलो भगवान श्री रमण महर्षि की जय।
Jai.